Hey everyone, welcome to Taqueando. I'm your host, Bill Esparza, and today on the podcast, we're in beautiful Oceanside. I can see the ocean right now from the windows of one Michelin star Valle, and I'm here with a longtime friend, Chef Roberto Alcocer, Ensenada native. We could say Ensenada native.
Yeah.
And you've had, I've have a long history with you, like a lot of people, because I've been going to the Valle for years. I think you once said I was the mafia down there.
Yeah. It's the reverse coyote. I remember reading that name, and that's the nickname.
That is the
reverse
nickname.
Coyote.
And so, you have this, you're one of the people from this generation of chefs that were trained. You did get some training abroad.
Yes.
But really grew up with Mexican chefs, and so you went to school. Where did you go to culinary school?
I went to culinary school in France and then in Puebla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so you were, like Diego was trained, who's a colleague of yours,
in
Diego
Mexico.
Hernandez, a friend of the podcast.
Yes.
And so he was trained all in Mexico, like a lot of chefs of that generation. So you had some training abroad. You got your first Michelin star for Valle when?
In 2023.
In 2023. And of course, you had one of the early Valle de Guadalupe restaurants. A lot of people that have been going there for a long time would understand that when you opened Malva, there wasn't much open at the time. We
were only 4 restaurants.
Right.
It was
you had Laja,
Corazón, Finca, Deckman's, and myself.
Right.
Those were and in that time
that were all year round restaurants. There was Silvestre. Was Silvestre still going on?
Silvestre, that year was the last year they opened.
That was the last
seasonal,
year.
yeah.
And then there were seasonal restaurants that came during Vendimias. Yeah. But as far as permanent restaurants, you opened in 2013. Wasn't that the same year Corazón de Tierra opened?
No, Corazón is two years older. And
2011.
Same year was Drew and me.
Okay.
But Drew was seasonal before that. Drew used to come on summers, but that year is when he decided to go yearly round. And also Miguel Angel used to go seasonal on the weekends in Lisiaga to sell lamb, borrego. And
I remember all this. This is crazy.
Yeah, and that's when he started building Almazara. And it took him a couple of years more. But yeah, in that time, there were only 5 restaurants all year round. And all year round because Finca Altozano used to close on the winters for a month or 2, but Malva never closed. I mean, we were like Corazon all year round, and like Laja all year round. Laja used to open their seasonal Encino, right, on the summers.
Yes.
And
I remember that.
Those are the last 2 years that he opened the Encino because Jair moved to Mexico.
Yeah.
But that was the time.
It was really a fun time, right? I mean, the Valle de Guadalupe that people know today did not exist.
No.
I remember there weren't that many hotels either.
There was no hotels. There was
like 2.
Adobe used to have these 6 rooms.
Right.
Benacaba with La Villa del Valle. And
the other winery, Adobe. That's it.
Yeah,
those two were and they didn't have a lot of rooms.
No.
And then there was like
a couple cabins here and there, but nothing.
And some hotels that weren't that great.
Yeah.
And then so you were basically staying in Ensenada, maybe.
Yeah.
Which probably they should have
stayed like that.
It should have stayed like that. I agree. Yeah. But like. There was one season, I wrote about it because I used to write for OC Weekly, and I said this is the year of the Campestre because everybody there was 1 year, everybody was there. Silvestre is the original, but then as far as like a seasonal restaurant, and for listeners who haven't been to Vendimias, it's an amazing time, and you've experienced them since they began, probably. And nobody had permanent restaurants, so everybody Javier Plasencia would come in and do something. Miguel Angel was doing things. And then you didn't even have visiting chefs back then so much.
No.
Not until Corazon
Laja, Jair might brought a couple in the beginning, but
Right.
again, it was a small events. It was petit comité, and it was more for sharing and having a community than to making a business. I
Right.
mean, if it was for business, Jair would have never opened in Laja, in those times.
Right.
Even Diego. So that's the situation. It was more about community. The fiestas de la Vendimia were the families gathering together, and the thing is, the families have friends. That you invite a friend. The friend is, this is a cool event. You should sell tickets. You should invite more people. And of course, business brings, attention.
Sure.
So that's how everything started. But in the beginning, like you say, all those reunions where we used to cook for those wineries.
It was basically the community cooking for each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the events were so informal and
Yeah.
loose. I remember like it would be like JC Bravo had
Exactly.
like ranchera music.
Yeah.
And Benito would come and make some dishes.
But you used to know every single person in the party. You
Right.
used to know everybody. It seems like we're talking about 50 years ago. No,
It's not that long
14
ago.
years ago.
I mean, I started going around 2000.
Yeah.
And I remember not being able to find, maybe in a day, I'd find 3 wineries that had good wine.
Yeah.
You know, that I didn't know all the wineries back then, but there were so many wineries. I was like, I'm just going to try random ones. And you'd eat a lot of prune juice.
Look, if we go back in time, I was in high school, and all these people that now are known in the wine world, they used to be the dentist, the veterinarian, the
The
different.
middle school PE coach.
I mean, the Petanic used to have an electric company, the
Yeah.
wines Petanic, Alvaro Petanic.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Fidel Cantu used to be the dentist, and then Pijuan used to be an agronomist something. He used to take care of animals in a
Yeah,
ranch.
JC Bravo was a middle school PE
Exactly.
teacher.
So if you go, all these people, they were doing something else, and they went to La Escuelita, right?
Yeah.
They learn how to make wine. They fall in love of the trade, and that's how basically the boom comes after that.
And I would say probably when it started to expand beyond the community and the hardcores like me, I was going down there and I'd say the most hardcore thing I could say that I ever did in Valle de Guadalupe was go to the Bibayof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I don't want to talk bad about
No. But they were there, And the thing is, there's people that still, they like their wines because they're still making them,
They've been so, it's the kind of wine that if you're a wine snob, you're not going to enjoy. But I was driving on the road, and I couldn't. There was it was dirt. There weren't any roads, and so I was like trying to figure out where I was. And this guy comes by and says, "Hey, are you lost?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm trying to go to Bibayof." And he goes, "I'm Bibayof."
But that's how it should have remained. And Hugo, a long time ago, he said, hard roads make good tourists.
Right.
The thing is, we turn it so accessible. We brought every offer needed that everybody start going. And the thing is, Valle de Guadalupe or Ensenada has a why,
Yeah.
right? Downtown Valle. And there was this invisible strainer that used to filter the right crowd to the Valle, And the rest of the tourism, the one looking for beers, tacos, party, used to go to downtown.
Yeah.
But something happened in that strainer that broke, that it start coming all type of people, all type of tourists to Valle. But the thing is, there was offer, The government or whoever start allowing this type of business in Valle.
It's the government, of course. Hey, you can read my story in Alto Journal.
No,
We talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So yes, I want to talk to you about that. But jumping kind of back, one thing I remember about you is that I would go to every single event the biggest and smallest events, like you said. It was a very different time when Manzanilla used to be the after party.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is still now, but it wasn't the same because all those people were, like you said, they were just starting their businesses.
Yeah.
It was a real community, and now everybody's gone off to do other things, and they've moved away. Like Yair Tellez, I remember seeing Yair Tellez in that bowl, and one running up and down with it. You're just not going to see things like that anymore. But and so you were hands at every single event. Like if it was at an anniversary, if it was an anniversary at Manzanilla, you were there. If it was an event at Corazón de Tierra, you were there, and you were always like volunteering to.
I do this because this is my passion first. So in that time, I was a corporate chef. I used to work for a big corporation, and I didn't have the exposure or the opportunity to cook for other people than for the people that work in this company. And again, I grew up in Baja, I grew up in Ensenada, so I knew Diego since elementary school.
Right.
His father was my English teacher, so if I speak wrong, it's his fault. But I know Diego since then, and we continue being friends after that. I went to ask for a job to Benito when I was younger, So my dad is or used to be the mechanic of Benito. So it's a small town.
Right.
And the thing, working in this corporation used to give me the weekends off. And as soon as I see that they were doing something with a chef that I respect, admire, whatever, I wanted to know and connect. For me, it has been always investing in learning, and by doing that. That's how I met a lot of people. That's how I met you. You brought Brian Voltaggio and the guys from Animal.
Michael Voltaggio
and Vinny.
Vinny came down, right?
So I was there. I was
when they did their pop up when they did their collab with Diego and Corazón de Tierra. Right, you were there.
And then every anniversary or any event, I used to raise my hand and go to help. Right.
Right. So you were basically coming off your shift.
Yes, but again, for me was the opportunity to connect and meet. I mean, Alex Atala when he came to Manzanilla.
We were there.
Any other chef that used to come to my town, I was like, I want to meet him. I wanna learn. And that's the thing. Those collabs, when I bring chefs now to the restaurant, I always tell my staff is learn something. You will learn something. They will bring something. So that's why I was there. Make connections, but learn from them also.
So I saw this development, and then, but I didn't realize that you were part of a wrecking crew over there at Puyol. So your first gig out of culinary school was at Puyol.
Yes.
And tell me who was there working with you.
So that was the Avengers. In the kitchen, the executive chef was Alex Villagomez. That now he's the master in La Paz.
I love Nemi.
He runs Nemi. He runs Quemadero. He's the real deal. He was the executive chef. The R&D was Juan Cabrera from Casa Tijuana and Fonda Fina in Mexico City.
Right, another big name.
Yes. Jorge Vallejo was coming to join us for banquet and events chef.
The Quinto Nil chef was the banquet chef.
Lalo from Maximo joined us to run the hotline. Mario Espinosa was the sous chef. Mario Espinosa that opened this restaurant in Mérida. What's the name of this restaurant? But Mario Espinosa, it's another guy. Then on the pastry team was Karime. Not even as pastry, but like a sous chef pastry. Karime, the first woman in Mexico getting a Michelin star. Karime, that now is opening in Xelha. She's opening a restaurant. She was the right hand for Massimo Bottura for so many years.
Yeah.
Who else? I still dig. Oh, Gabi Ruiz from Abuela Carmela was the stagiaire. She was
another friend of the podcast.
Yes, she was doing her internship. So
that was an amazing time. Huh?
Oh, Cavita Adriana. She has a restaurant in England, in London, called Cavita. She was also a stagiaire. So you turn around and it was and me, you know,
And,
and me.
and then before that, Diego Hernandez had just
Before
left.
Diego, yeah, Diego left like 6 months before me arriving to Pujol. Yeah, so it was honestly Ale Flores, the wife of Jorge, was commanding all the admin part of
Right.
of Pujol. Honestly, really a team that grew up so well and aged so well that today they are the people ruling
Yes.
the culinary scene of Mexico.
That is the ruling class
Yes.
of the current culinary
Yeah.
scene in Mexico. That's an amazing experience. And so you did that. You did Europe. Had this wonderful crew in Puyol. You came back, had this corporate gig, and
Yeah.
but you really wanted to get in. Obviously, you know, we're talking about how the Valle went from this really intimate place to a successful place, and then over tourism to now death.
Yeah.
So, which is a crazy cycle
Yeah.
in such a short time. But like, you know, when Corazón de Tierra opened up, it really brought in a lot of eyes, right? Because they got
Yes.
the 50 best
Yeah, right away.
right away.
Right away.
And it was really a special.
It was
space.
not even Latin America. It was the world.
It was
50
the. It
best.
was. Oh, right.
Because hey, it's different caliber.
No, of
it
course.
was Laja and Corazon, both of them.
Right, and that really put Valle on this
summit.
pedestal, and then everybody started opening. You opened.
I
Malva.
opened before the 50 best, but I opened because of Diego.
Right, no.
I remember.
I think it's a good thing.
No, I remember having a conversation with Diego. Again, we were friends and we were in a hangout, and I was fulfilled by being a corporate chef, and my income was safe, and my family, I was able to get married and have kids and get a house, etc.
Yeah.
But as cook, not as chef, as cook,
Yeah.
I was not planned. And I saw Diego being really happy, you know,
Having fun.
having fun, making connections.
Having Alex Atala come in and
Traveling.
It was Alex Atala and Enrique Olvera on the same night.
On the same night. Come on.
That's like
Yeah. I mean,
you're making a big statement about what. Yeah.
So I remember having a conversation with Diego, and Diego was the one that encouraged me and said, "Open in Valle. Valle is the place," because I was about to move from that job to another one because I was not happy.
Right.
So he was like, "Why don't you open something in Valle?" You know, it's like, "Why don't you open?" But Valle is,
Yeah.
and that's why I say, you know what, I'll do it, and that's why I opened Malva. And the thing is, in the beginning, Corazon and Laja, for sure, they were an inspiration, and the way of things should have been done since the beginning with your orchard, and you know, I fall in Malva, in Mina Penelope, that it's a winery, that we used to have our own lamb, sheep, and goat.
No, it definitely along with, you know, the tradition of Laja and the tradition of Manzanilla and what Diego did is keeping local.
Yeah.
The winery was right there on the premises.
Yeah.
And, you know, I went maybe in the last year you were open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was telling people, I kept telling them to go because this is right now the most affordable tasting menu, and it's really executed so well. And the thing that what people love about Valle de Guadalupe, really the municipality of Ensenada, is your style of seafood, which if you're eating mariscos in Puyol today, or Quintonil, or in Oaxaca, you're getting basically something that was taught by Baja chefs, by Ensenada chefs who spread their marisco style all over. You go to Contramar, and it's inspired by Ensenada. You know, people say, well, it's Baja. No, it's really Ensenada. The style of tostadas, the style of ceviches that have this roots in Sinaloa. So I loved what you were doing at Malva for 14 years?
No, 13.
13 years. And, you know, I know well, I mean, you could tell me, why you closed, but right now, are you going to reopen this thing?
So the plan is to reopen in Valle. I don't know if it's gonna be Malva per se, the same name, or we will like step up, or maybe yes, we are negotiating that. The time of closing, of course, it's not the best time in Valle for business, and I was partnered with the owner of the land, Veronica, that is the winemaker of Mira
Yes.
Penelope, and after. In the beginning, Malva was supposed to be just a pop-up for the summer.
Right.
So we run the place for 13 years. I grew up. She grew up. I mean, I moved to U.S. She's still there. She has now 2 kids, and there was this moment, I think, when we sat and say, "Hey, the Valle is not in their best time.
Yeah.
We were not losing money, but we have been seeing how the trend, and before, it's like, is it worth it to work this hard and risk, or maybe let's call the day?" And we decided to call the day. She opened on the same spot of Malva the following week, her own thing, but she has a really small menu.
Yeah.
Just to source the winery. I pick up my stuff, and I might open soon because I don't want to wait until the Valle cleans up and disintoxicated.
I agree. I think when you're in a great place right now with this restaurant and the Michelin star. Malva was doing great, and it was always part of the conversation. But if you let it go too long,
no. And the thing is, I feel myself like part of the anarchy or the counterweight of all this, and I see my friends needs my help. I see the wineries is struggling. I see my chef friends are struggling, and they need more good food to push out the bad food. So
right there,
yes,
there is sort of this. Well, okay, so Malva, you can't really talk much about what you're going to do yet, but sometime soon, yeah?
soon.
In time for Vendimias, maybe?
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. Call me crazy, call me lover. I think it's time.
I agree. I agree that if you wait till it recovers, and it will.
If something I have learned in my life is that it's never the perfect time for anything.
No.
It's never the perfect time to get married. It's never the perfect time to buy a house. It's never the perfect time to open a restaurant. It's never the perfect time. It's never the perfect. So just do it.
It's always the perfect time to get a dog.
Oh, yeah?
That's it.
Okay. All right.
But you're right. The idea that you can guess when things are going to be the right people, everyone who's successful is a genius, and everyone who isn't is an ignorant person.
You are,
that's not the way the world is.
You are always afraid of failing.
Yeah.
But when you have failed so many times, you're like, okay, let's go back to the ring, And
I'm with you, man.
What else gonna happen?
I am with you.
In my head, it's like, what? I'm gonna. Maybe if Malva the last 2 years was because ego. Because Valle de Guadalupe has been bad now for a couple years. But my ego didn't allow me to understand that I was going to fail in front of other colleagues, And what people say sometimes weighs more than the amount of money that you can lose, even that I was not losing, but I was putting a lot of my own time on going and supervising.
Right.
But I deal with my own ego and say, you know what? Yeah, let's close it. And how many chefs, and tell me any name, they have closed restaurants, and more than the ones that I have closed, and they are way bigger names than me.
The biggest name chefs. I mean, look at Wolfgang Puck.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas Keller, he closed his Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, he closed Barbuchon in Los Angeles.
And if you go any name you throw me there, The thing of restaurants.
And you know the amount
there's
of
no-
money that he lost
Oh, yeah.
keeping that open for a year longer than it needed to be?
Yeah, no.
No, I mean, you know, you fall in love with an asset
Yeah.
and there's all this pride, but yes, there is a time to say that was, it's like in music. Do we need to see Motley Crue on tour right now? No,
No.
we don't. It's terrible. David Lee Roth.
Yeah, but you have other people worse than them, you know? So
Yeah, but this idea of having a great run
yeah.
and a restaurant that we can, I mean, if it comes back as Malva and, if you change the name, the conchas are going to be just as good.
That's the thing. The thing is, who's back of the restaurant is gonna be the same person. There's these traditions in restaurants that you change name if you change place, and if you grab the same place, it's like a boat. If you buy a used boat, don't change the name or it will sink. You know, the same happened with the restaurants. There's this legend. So, however, the name of Malva has been part of Valle now for the past 13 years.
Yeah.
Do you wanna keep it legacy? But the real thing is that it's not gonna be the same palapa.
No.
Because that's the other thing. In this period of time, some wineries, some hotels have approached to me and say, hey, open here, open here, open here. And I have been going to Valle de Guadalupe to see all these places, and I already had a palapa. I wanna do the next thing in Valle.
Yeah. It's very hard to bring a brand back. Like you said, there's other restaurants that have moved, really,
Yeah.
but they moved before they got big.
Exactly.
Now that you've had this long run. So Malva's going to come back in some form.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have a restaurant in the Valle
Yep.
de Guadalupe, which I think you should.
No, soon.
Absolutely. Soon. So let's talk about the Valle de Guadalupe that, again, I've been coming since the early aughts,
I think before me, dude.
You were off
Yes.
in France or something,
At the end in Mexico, I don't know if you have heard the term malinchista.
Yeah, I do.
Malinchista. And that's why I went to study in France, because for me it was like, why I want to learn how to do mole.
I'm going to be a French chef.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna. But because I have been cooking now for 26 years.
Right.
So the thing is, 26 years ago, all the executive chefs in Mexico were French.
Yeah, the generation before you
Yes.
did fine Italian,
Every single
French.
chef in the big
Yeah.
hotels, big restaurants, the fanciest places in Mexico were out of the country.
If you're a chef in Mexico over, say, 45 right now,
Yeah.
you were trained in Europe.
Yes, and that's
How old are you?
I'm 42.
Damn.
But the thing is, for example, Diego.
You are truly
No,
a malinchista.
No, but
you were.
Let's talk Diego. Diego, before taking this road, he went in another road, and
Yeah.
I was already cooking. And when he realized that this is what I like, the story of Diego, he found the love of the kitchen by finding a job while he was studying business administration.
Yeah.
With Benito. No, I knew I wanted to be a chef since I was in elementary school, so that's the difference. So I started younger, and when I decided to go to school, there was no schools.
Right. It was still the age when by the time he came in, the idea of being a Mexican chef, because Enrique Olvera was already famous,
Yeah.
and Guillermo Gonzalez and Benito Molina and Federico Lopez.
Federico Lopez. But there was this, and I was already in university when this was happening.
Okay. Fair enough.
No. But however, being there and cooking Mexican food for the French cooks at the restaurant, and they were loving it, that's when I realized, Mexican food is good.
Right, it is.
So, that's how I was like, fuck, I need to learn Mexican food.
Sure.
Because what I was cooking was my mom recipes, I
Yeah.
was not trained in Mexico. I didn't know how to nixtamalize or maybe cook properly beans and rice. So I was like, okay, I need to learn how to do. I'm a Mexican chef. I should know how to make a tortilla. I went to France not knowing how to make a tortilla. So that's for me when I realized, okay, I need to learn Mexican food. So I found the love of my country outside of my country. And I accept. But when I come back, I finished university, I went to Puyol, and in Puyol, because I was not planning on returning in Ensenada. Because Ensenada, there was nothing. I mean, Benito, and that was it.
That was it.
The winery, the wine country, start like, honestly, burn. I mean, it was inexistent because Hugo was starting, and just Cheto and the other ones, like you say.
No, I remember.
But the wines were not that like good. It's Hugo, when I am in the university, that start making Jose Luis.
You had
Duran.
you had a few. You had Montechanique.
Yes, but they were not available in Puebla because I was studying
Right,
in
right.
Puebla. And the thing is, when
Chateau Camo.
yes, oh yeah, Chateau
And
Camo, El Gran
Vinacerra.
Militar. But there
Vinacerra
was
has a little bit.
few,
So few.
few.
Agreed.
Paulina used to bring these people. You know Paulina. She sold
Yes,
the time
yeah.
in Benacaba.
Yes.
Yeah, Paulina, she was the one bringing the winemakers to Mexico City. So working at Pujol is when I realized how big Ensenada in ingredients, not Baja.
Because
Because Sargasso arrived every morning with all vegetables from Ensenada. I mean, not only seafood,
yeah. No.
vegetables. I was like, this is from Ensenada?
That's from
I was like, I'm from Ensenada and I have never seen these things in the supermarket.
Right.
Because they were not available for the locals. They used to grow, farm, catch these seafood, vegetables to export. It was not for the locals.
Right, but it was Benito and Hugo that
Martín San Román,
también.
Benito were the chefs that approached to these farmers, to Sargasso, and start working with them to sell to them, to the locals. You
Right.
know? With Pablo Ferrer, I know him since high school. I mean, he's a little older than me. Before El Sargasso exists, I know Pablo. But they used to sell to Mexico City. Because in Ensenada, there were not that many restaurants willing to buy from them, other than Benito. And maybe Ray sold some stuff, but that's it. But in Pujol, when I'm opening and receiving, because I was in the morning shift receiving, and I started Ensenada, I was like. So when I was coming to Ensenada to spend my weeks or my vacations, I was trying to look for those ingredients to cook to my family. Really hard to find.
Sure.
Really hard to find because they were not in the supermarkets, right? But that's when I realized that I want to cook these ingredients and I want to be close from home. I can move back to Ensenada. And that's how I started looking to go back to Ensenada. And then I found this job on the corporate, and that's how I come. Because in my head, I was not coming back to Ensenada. Because I didn't have the money to open my own restaurant.
Right.
And there was not enough restaurants that were hiring certain level of cooks and paid decent amount of wage, you know? So basically, I found the love of my town outside of my town.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a nice story, but yes, it's what it is.
And then, like I said, you and I were crossing paths.
Yes.
It's amazing for people that go to Valle de Guadalupe, for people that go to Valle de Guadalupe now, to have missed all that one. That makes it hard for people to understand what it is if they didn't see all that, if they weren't at all those little events. And remember the rodeo style event that Mogor used to do?
Yeah.
With empanadas and wine?
Empanadas and wine, yes. No,
And then Hugo was doing all these artsy things with the floating,
yeah, yes.
art displays. And so now it's so commercial, right? And then after Malva opened, everyone slowly started. I don't remember which year, but all of a sudden there were restaurants everywhere.
Like after Malva, that was 2013, there's still 4 years in front that there was a lot of summer openings. And in that time, I became a writer, and I did one article that I called Valle de Guadalupe, the hooker of the summer, because in every restaurateur in Baja, from Tijuana, from all these groups of restaurants, they used to open in a winery just for the summer.
Yeah.
And as Malva opened the whole year, you were expecting the summer to put money in the bank. But there was so many restaurants opening just for 2 months with no papers, no taxes, no regulations, no that it impact
The
the
standing
restaurants
restaurants
yes.
that were there.
So it was like, dude, come on, stay open the whole year. I mean, come on, not just come from for the season, open, take customers from us, and then leave in the winter. And in the winter, we were the same 5 there.
Right. So people get it had the idea that you only come to the Valle in the summer and you don't go the rest of the year.
Don't go the rest of the year.
Right. Unless you were locos
Local.
like me.
Yeah.
Locos.
Locos. Exactly. Yes.
And then I want to say what 27 Fauna opened up in 2017.
Yes.
I think that's and around the time that Fauna opened, that it started to really open the door because they were an instant success.
Yes.
And the winery. Were you there at the opening party with the
For
clown?
Fauna, no.
For the before this was before Lulu was even there. They had this. They just opened the winery, Bruma.
Yeah.
And they had this clown performing.
Yeah, I remember the
crying
performance,
clown,
but I was not there. But the thing is, Fauna was looking for the right chef.
Yeah.
They scout for couple years, I think, for the right chef, and I think they found David, and it was a excellent marriage.
Yeah, because he was up with
He was
Gabriela
in New York, I think, right?
in San Francisco.
In San Francisco.
Yeah. Gabriela Camara had her restaurant in San Francisco. So yeah, no, he is definitely the right chef, but the amount of tourism that came after it wasn't just Fauna; it was other wineries opening, so many hotels. The hotels. So the big problem is there's so many hotels in the Valle. They should be in Ensenada or outside the town. When in the article that I wrote, it's like you go to Napa. Napa's quiet in downtown Napa. It's hotels are there, but restaurants are closed by 8. They don't encourage too much crazy. And then during the day, you go out and you go to the wineries, but there's no place to stay. It is very touristic in the wineries, but by 5 p.m. it's done, and everybody has to come back to these centers of town. They don't offer stays on the wineries. Nope. And so I think this is where the Valle went wrong. Now, it worked for a while, but what do you think the problem is right now? I'm hearing lots of people talking about what the problem is in the Valle. People are talking about the price has gone up. The over-tourism has gone away. Yeah. There was over-tourism for a minute, and then you had Frida's come in, and you have, what's it called?
Your friend King and Queen.
My friend, your friend,
Mr. Tempo.
Mr. Tempo, and King and Queen. And so these places that really brought in a whole different crowd and are not, they're not promoting viticulture and sustainability, obviously. And then all these other things like Christian Nodal was going to come into a concert, a golf course.
This is my perception, because at the end, I don't think nobody knows 100% what's happening. One, I don't think that people stopped coming. I think it has went down the number of tourism a little bit. However, there's so many places that at the end you have the same 100 covers, and now you need to distribute it.
Too many restaurants.
Too many restaurants, too many wineries. Because, like you said, in that time, not all the wineries used to have wine tasting salons. And if they were like for 5 people that arrive, taste wine, and go. The same wineries open these wine tasting areas that can fit a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they still open, they continue opening, I mean, the winery of the Cantos can fit 500 people. Right.
Okay, if I was to point at one place that's sort of problematic, and again, I've been, the place is massive. The wines are not great, but they're okay.
We're talking about the Cantos?
The Cantos.
I haven't tried their wines long time ago.
Yeah.
But the place is massive.
Right. But it's not even, but the wines are good enough, and I'm not saying I completely dislike their wines. It's not my kind of place, but but it's super popular. People love this
But
place.
that's the thing, like places like the
And they're open late.
Places like the Cantos open more. So even for them, like for Malva, my type of tourism is not the same type of the Cantos, you know. But like my place, they open more places, you know. It opened Damiana, it opened Villa Torel, open Envero, open these fine dining, let's call fine dining
Yeah.
or campestre type of farm to table restaurants.
Modern campestre.
Yes, but they're all rustico, or I don't remember the other name, and there's more. So it's the same. You have the same 100 people, and maybe King and Queen used to have their own people, but places like King and Queen Cantina open. I mean, open the Cantos, Casa Frida, La Justina, Hoja. So you have 100 people, you need to distribute them. So that's for me the first problem. The second problem, of course, the government giving permits for everything to everybody.
Yes.
And that's the situation, not measuring, you know.
They didn't see, they did not plan for growth. Like, I can't say that I know this for a fact, but if I look at the Napa region, and you can see that somebody is in charge of making sure nothing gets out of hand.
But that's the problem. Here the thing, Viva Mexico, they don't care.
Yeah.
So it happened to Tulum, it happened to San Miguel de Allende, it happened to San Cristobal de las Casas. It happened to so many places
They just go after the dollars.
they have 3 years to make their money. Whoever is in the government, they have 3 years
Yeah.
to make their money. And that's how in Mexico we have new rich every 3 years. The families of the governance that arrive to the power, they have 3 years to become rich. And that's the situation. You have 3 years to bring all the money, and if he's not doing and changing contracts or whatever, but that's the problem. The problem is that who should be defending this space is the natives of Valle de Guadalupe, the people that has their business. But the thing is, when they have so many land, you know,
Yeah.
because that's the landlords of Valle have so many lands that they don't get a dime from them. And it's boom, Valle de Guadalupe.
So they just care about selling real estate, renting spaces.
Selling
leases.
right now. Ejidatarios are selling the space, and the thing is, by law, they are not even able to sell that. But it's like, okay, we'll do an individual contract. I allow you to build here, construct here, you pay me. So they start building. But they are not even, in order for you to have the right of that piece of land, you need to make a whole law situation, una lawsuit,
yeah.
you know? So then the judge will like give you the papers of your piece of land because the ejidatario sold it to you. So that's the thing. These people, that is not even the original owners. This is 4 or 5 generation of the people that the government gave this piece of land to grow vegetables or grow grape or whatever. But it's 5 generation of people not working. You know, this is a problem of these people that see that, okay, I don't have a problem that my grandfather didn't want to make money with this piece of land, but they don't have love or care for Valle. So that's the situation. That's where we come into the picture with the organizations like Valle de Verdad. I mean, even Provino supports a little bit there. So all the people that wants to keep Valle like a wine country.
Yeah.
You know? But we are minority. It's, you know.
No, and right. It's unregulated growth.
Yeah.
And it's not targeted growth. It's not saying what do we want to have here? What should not be here? Yeah. It's so I'm hearing this from other people too, that what needs to happen probably is some of these places need to die. The right ones need to die.
And they are, thank God. They are.
Why? How does King and Queen stay open? They're not getting customers.
I mean,
they're dead during the week.
He just closed all his restaurants.
That's what I'm saying. Is that he closed in the U.S.
All of them.
How in the hell is that place even open? And
it's cheaper to pay pesos than dollars, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe his agreement with the landlord is different.
That's
I don't know.
To me, one of the big problems is Frida's. Is again, it's a big space. It's a party space. It, as you said, sucks up a lot of the energy, the oxygen of the region.
They just close the food offer. They fired the chef.
So they're not okay. That's a
So
sign.
now they are just open like for some days on the week.
Just to
And
pistear,
a small
nada.
menu,
Yeah.
yes. But that's finally they're closed.
Okay, so we're seeing some movement, but yeah. So, okay, I'm glad to hear that. Tourism has to be down,
Yes.
but you're right. It's a lot of places competing for. There's too many hotels
Yeah.
in the Valle, and they're kind of pricey.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The thing is, the other day in Facebook, I went into
Yeah, you got into
an
it.
argument with somebody that was like, "Oh, no, Valle de Guadalupe needs help because my aunt built 6 cabins and she's not renting them." And it's like, the thing is, a lot of people saw in Valle, the chicken of the golden eggs.
Yeah.
And I have this piece of land. I'm gonna build 6 cabins, shitty cabins, with no hot water, with no amenities, and I'm gonna rent it really, really expensive. They are not receiving guests because now with the same money, you can stay in a banyan tree. You're about to be able to stay in a montage because Bruma is gonna be a montage. And the price of these cabins
No, it's
for
ridiculous.
montage, yeah. So and Hyatt is opening, and uh, Chablé is opening.
Yeah.
So Chablé, Hyatt, Montage, Banyan. This is premium brand hotels opening in Valle de Guadalupe. So yes, all these small cabins, they better down their prices or bring all their amenities because they're not gonna get any customers. And the thing is, a lot of these local houses that they were like, "Oh, I have a house in Valle because my grandma used to live there. I'm gonna put it on Airbnb."
Yeah.
And the thing is, locals, your employees, were not able to rent a house to work in Valle because there was no housing.
Yeah, it's really.
So all of these small places that don't give you the amount of amenities for the amount of money, finally maybe they will become housing for the locals,
Yeah.
So I think what is happening is actually what happened with COVID. We get really, really sick, and then we start making
It's a market,
our own antibodies.
a market correction.
Exactly. People don't realize that in the past administration, the government administration, the minimum salary has increased 75% or more in the north part of Mexico. And everything has increased. So the produce has increased so much. And the people don't realize that when they go to restaurants.
Yeah.
They do when they go to the supermarket to buy for their house, but they are expecting that restaurants do not increase their pricing. And this is not something that happens in Mexico. It happens all over the world because I read about an article about that. People expect that, like here, I don't know if in LA it happened the same, but I think it was all over the US, that eggs were being a problem. And
Yeah.
even here in the United States, you were going and they were charging
No, I
you
think-
for the eggs.
I think it's global. It's happening post-pandemic. There's
But
all these things.
unless you work on the industry, you don't realize that.
It's more like the hotels.
My wife went to breakfast when this egg shortage was happening, and she texted me and said, "Look, this place is charging me extra for the eggs." And I was explaining her, "Hey, honey, remember that you went to Trader Joe and there was no eggs? It's because there's no eggs." The minimum salary right now for cooks are incredible. It's huge, and you need to pay them. And the thing is, they are expecting that the owner stop making you profit and pay. At the end, you need, as owner, that's why you put a business to make money.
Yeah.
So that's the situation. Everything
No,
has
the
increased.
food is. I like said. I think when I was talking about prices, it's more about big brands coming in with hotels that are too expensive, and then everyone else is trying to upgrade their hotels and not having it arrange. If I'm going to Chicago next week for the James Beard things, and I can find a good hotel for under $100.
Oh yeah.
And I can't in the Valle.
No.
And Chicago's not a small town.
No, and you will have hot water, but that's the thing. The thing here is, but again, this person that was building only 6 cabins
Yeah.
to live from that is like, get a job, dude. I mean, those 6 cabins will be a side gig, maybe. But if
No,
you're,
get out of the Valle.
exactly. But if you're expecting to make a living with 6 cabins in Valle, so that's the situation. But yeah.
Yeah, so the Valle will correct, and you're going to come back. But here in Valle, you're kind of doing something very unique. This restaurant is a Valle de Guadalupe kitchen. That's what it says out front.
Yeah.
But your menu is really representing national Mexican cuisine, and so you're presenting the perspective of Valle de Guadalupe here in fine dining with plates that you're going to see from different parts of Mexico. Yeah. And the pair of times I've been for the tasting menu, it's really amazing. You got a Michelin star here. So what's next for Valle?
So to start your question, when we planned Valle and we designed Valle in the beginning was to bring Malva to the United States, the food of Malva, right?
Right.
And we start like that, and right after we open, I realized that San Diegans do not know Baja food, and calling what I was doing in Malva Mexican food.
They're missing the Mexican.
Exactly. They were like, this is not Mexican, you know? And I was doing an aguachile de chayote, you know? And this is not Mexican. So in the head of locals, I was not doing tacos, mole, tostadas, you know? Even that I was like presenting in a way, but I was doing my lamb from Malva, that I did it for 13 years. And they were like, this is not Malva, this is not Mexico. So I understood, I mean, Baja's still in diapers. The food from Baja in the rest of the world is in diapers. I mean, you cannot name more than 20 chefs today that we are doing Baja food, you know?
Yeah.
So the thing is, it was starting to be a double-edged knife to present as Baja food, Mexican food, because they didn't know. So that's when I turned right away and started doing contemporary Mexican cuisine. And because my roots are from south of Mexico, I live in Chiapas for 6 years. My mom is from Oaxaca. I studied in Puebla for 6 years. I know Mexican food now, and I was going to interpret Mexican food my way. So that's why, yes, that sign is old. It says Guadalupe Valley Kitchen. But right now, Valle is contemporary Mexican cuisine.
Yeah.
With the vibe and the wines from Baja, and how I see the service and the food of Valle right now and in the future.
Yes, and of course, the mariscos that you're doing here are a reflection of the fact that Ensenada is the center for mariscos for fine dining.
We source oysters from Baja. We source trout from Baja. We source a lot of our ingredients are from Baja. Even my tostadas come from Ensenada. You know, those blue tostadas are from Baja, and I bring them through the border. So yeah, I stay as rooted in Baja, but also I have been making roots here in San Diego.
This is the challenge in America. I mean, San Diego, Los Angeles, they have a lot of experience with Mexican food, but not fine dining.
And that has been the challenge also, because people used to come to here in the restaurant to Valle and say, oh, it's too expensive for Mexican food.
Yeah, there's that.
And I was like, dude, my corn masa to make my tortillas, it's heirloom corn grew in Encinitas. It's not corn from Oaxaca that you pay cheap, or it's not a GMO, corn from Washington. And we're doing it, the tortillas here. The thing is, in the head of the people, a taco can cost more than $5.
Well, if you get your plate with Tehachapi grains, you're
yeah. But that's the thing. The thing is, people in their head have like Mexican food can, and actually, I was talking with Balkan two Michelin star in California in Pebble Beach. We were talking about there's no Mexican restaurant with 3 stars, so maybe even Michelin don't see Mexican food at the level of a 3 stars, you know. Do we have? And that's the thing. Maybe I don't want to stop being Mexican, and he doesn't want to stop doing Mexican and Quintonil and Puyo. We don't want to stop doing that in order to be more Frenchy or be more. You need to eat with your hands in Mexico.
Yeah.
So how do you want to eat a taco if it's not with your hands? Am I losing the finesse there? It's stop being nice.
So we have 2 Michelin star restaurants.
Yeah, we have Californios, the first one with 2, Puyol and Quintonil. That's it.
And Le Chic,
1.
they're still at 1.
1.
Yeah.
And you're gonna tell me Le Chic is not a 2-star? I'm not gonna say 3, 2.
It's a 2-star restaurant.
It's a 2-star restaurant.
I mean, wow. Well, you know, I've seen like Brazil moved fast. They moved to 3-star.
No, they just get the 3-star right now.
But I mean, right. But I would say that just recently they've been like accelerating the stars there.
Yeah.
And Toujours, which I went to a couple times in the last couple of years. I'm like, this is going to be a 3-star. It definitely.
But Dom, in their best times, it was not a 3-star.
Right. Yeah, it's traditionally Michelin does not know what to do with food that's not French or Japanese. This is.
But do you want to lose your roots?
No.
Do I want to lose my
No.
flavor? No. And that's the situation. That's where I'm like, because I receive a lot of Mexicans. And if I stop cooking Mexicans are the toughest customers because they have seen everything. They have tasted the mole. So as soon as I present a mole, it was like, coloradito? Let me see if it's as good as my mom's. You cannot compete with the love to the mom.
No, it's a tough customer. Yeah, I mean, and if you're not a Mexican chef and you try to do these things, there's a restaurant in LA and there's a white chef and he says like, I'm doing a mole now. I'm like,
Yeah, don't do it.
please don't.
It happened to me with the burger. I have a burger in the bar. I love burgers. My burger is the bomb. And people are like, burger? Well, it's good. I'm like, well, try it, right?
Yeah, so this is the challenge of that. You know, Diego went through this when he opened here in the United States. Obviously, Enrique Vera with his restaurants has spent a lot of time, like, okay, adjusting the fact that when it comes to fine dining, you still have to present what people think of as Mexican flavors and dishes and items.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they don't get the fact that Valle de Guadalupe is just as Mexican as Puebla.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the challenge here.
No, do not change what you're doing here. Keep it Mexican, and you know, I think in time that it might just take time for them to figure it out.
Yeah.
But you know, I already say Mexico already has 2- and 3-star restaurants. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know, obviously, Valle de Guadalupe, Ensenada is your hometown, and you feel for it. I've been going for so long. I feel like, you know, I take it personally as well. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see it, you know, go down.
Yeah.
And obviously, I do want to see it corrected. I do, you know, it's like put, you know, whatever, Mr. Tempo. We don't hate Mr. Tempo.
No,
but
there's no hate.
Open in Ensenada, open in Tijuana.
He should have opened. I mean, you know how many cruise people
Rosarito.
comes? No. For downtown Ensenada, maybe he will be revitalizing downtown Ensenada.
Oh, go.
Who is dying, you know?
Yeah.
The thing is that I even say to people, like, maybe if King and Queen Cantina had opened in Ensenada, I will go too.
Yeah.
You know? Because it's the right place.
We'll go together.
Yeah.
Jameson with a sparkler, man.
Exactly.
You know, we
Yes.
can do it. Now, okay, so as the Valle is struggling to sustain the restaurants that we love, so let's talk about what are your picks where people can stay, eat, and drink, and really support viticulture, the right Valle de Guadalupe restaurants, and the right Valle de Guadalupe hotels right now.
All right.
Where are we staying?
I think right now my favorite is Mira Earth Studios. I think that one is.
It's my personal favorite as well.
I think they are doing really great stuff there. If you want to go classic, I'll stay in Adobe de Guadalupe.
Old school.
And try to book a dinner with True Miller, this big kitchen. So to stay, I will pick those. Those two. If you like music and you want to talk about music, I'll stay in Benacaba, in La Villa del Valle. Why not?
Another classic.
Yeah.
All right, two originals,
Yes,
two
originals
OGs,
and Mira
Earth Studios.
Great stuff, yeah.
Okay, what about restaurants?
Restaurants. I will start with a heavy breakfast. I will go to La Opah del Güero. It's not in Valle de Guadalupe, but it's in El Sausal.
It's in the municipality of
Yes.
Ensenada.
And it's in the way, but I
La
think
Opah del
La
Güero
Opah
is
del Güero
amazing.
and you need something heavy to start drinking wine, Or also Escama. Escama is in the way going to Wendland, in the corner. They serve really great breakfasts.
And what do you like there?
They have a tamal with mole and an egg on top that...
Oh my God, that sounds like heaven.
Yes. And again, you need to give
Yeah.
something to your body, right?
Okay.
So I will pick those two. That normally is the way going in Valle de Guadalupe if you stay in
Okay, that's
Ensenada,
breakfast.
right? That's breakfast. For lunch, I will pick a campestre place. I will maybe pick a Envero. Envero's
wonderful. And that place has also had a great...
You're in Las Nubes.
It's
and
in
basically that name makes sense. You're on top of the Valle de Guadalupe. You have a really great view. Alex is a great chef. He trained with Benito.
Yes.
He cooks really, really well. It's real food.
I was there recently. I love it.
So I will have dinner, lunch there.
Lunch at Envero.
Take time to the wines from Las Nubes, and then for dinner, I will go for fine dining. Now that I'm in Valle de Guadalupe and there's several Michelin stars there, I will give you 3: Animalón, Damiana, and Lunario. Pick your battle there. Honestly,
love all of those.
Exactly, and that's the thing. The thing is, Lunario is Sheila's. Honestly, really feminine menu, really vegetable approach. The wines of the house are spectacular. Her maitre d' is Enrique Fargeat, also best service. And
love it there.
He won best service in Mexico, actually. And then you have Damiana with Esteban. Esteban, he's a badass.
His opening offering of mariscos kills.
So yeah. So, and then of course Animalón. That experience under that oak, it's Plasencias,
Yeah.
Oscar, Javier, they know everything about hospitality. So
they do.
I think it's a way of grabbing. But my recommendation that I make to everybody is go dinner early. In the way of your day, buy your favorite bottles of wine and go early to your hotel and open those wines and see the sky, because you cannot pass the border with that many bottles.
Drink them there.
But if you book Mira Earth, you have your terrace, you have that sky.
They also have the best wine selection
you
can get in room.
But you have
curated.
your sauna there. You have your sauna there.
The hot tub?
Yes. Open that
Hot
thing.
tub, white wine.
Maybe a pet nut,
A pet nut,
Maybe a pet nut from Valle. Dude, that's the perfect day in Valle de Guadalupe.
It is.
And you don't need noise. You don't need anything else. You just need to enjoy.
You don't need thumping music.
Exactly.
You don't need sparklers.
If you need that, you want that, don't go to Valle. Please.
Yeah, you have romance.
Somebody says, keep Valle boring. Keep Valle boring. Yeah, that's...
Yes, your evening should not be a party time.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be going if you go there with your friends, your girlfriends, you can sit around and talk and enjoy wine. For me, Mira Earth Studios, a cigar, some wine, and the hot tub is the perfect way to end my evening.
Maybe we're getting old. But yes, for me, that's it. Yeah.
I showed up this way today.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Okay, Chef Roberto, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much.
And I'll be here soon. I have an appointment to come in soon to check out the new tasting menu. Any surprises for me?
All right. Yeah, the whole menu.
Okay, don't tell me now.
No. You have to come.
I'm going to see you soon.
It's not Baja. It's Mexican
It's
food.
Mexican
Yeah.
food.
All right.
Mexican.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to the Taqueando podcast this week. And be sure to tune in next week for another episode. And please leave us a rating or review wherever you listen to your podcasts.